Hello everyone, welcome back to another video poker Q&A. Today's question is going to be about when to hold 3 to a straight flush. Now this topic has been requested by a viewer on one of my recent videos. If you've got a question you want me to answer on Video Poker, please put it in the comment section of this video or in any of my other Video Poker videos. But before we begin, I want to make a quick announcement. I would like to do a live stream Q&A before the end of January. So if you're watching this within the first week of this video going live, please put in the comment section if you have any specific day or date and time that you'd like me to do the stream. And I will be sure to make a formal announcement on the official day and time in next week's show. But with that, let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to answer the question, when to hold 3 to a straight flush. Now, this hand combination is actually one of the trickiest for beginners, because it's not something you intuitively think of wanting to hold. So let's go ahead and take a look. I do have my notes with me here for this one, and I've listed a few common instances where you may be dealt 3 to a straight flush. With other possible hand combinations that you may consider holding or not. We're going to go over those right now. Alright, so let's just get started here. So 3 to a straight flush versus a pair. This one's a simple one. You always hold the pair. And that's any pair. High pair, low pair. Yeah, regardless. The second instance, 3 to a straight flush versus 4 to an open-ended straight draw or an outside straight draw. You go for the straight draw. So if you have like 5, 6, 7 of hearts, 8 of clubs, you hold all 4 of those, go for the straight. The next one, straight flush versus a gut shot straight draw or an inside straight draw. In this case, you go for the straight flush. Now, this one's pretty obvious, especially in jacks or better, where you never go for gut shot straight draws at all. But in other games where you do, like double bonus, the 3 to a straight flush supersedes the 4 to a gut shot straight draw. Okay, so those first 3 that I've listed apply to all combinations of straight flushes, generally speaking. But the next 2 is going to be a little bit more complicated and actually depends on the composition of the straight flush. So the next one here I have listed is 3 to a straight flush against 1 or 2 high cards of a different suit, or of mixed suits that are not the same suit as the 3 to a straight flush. So you may have 3 to a straight flush of hearts, and then the other 2 cards, well, at least one of them being a high card of a different suit. Let's say King of Clubs, for example, or maybe King of Clubs, Queen of Spades. In this case, generally speaking, you go for the straight flush and not the high cards, with one exception, and that is if the composition of the 3 to a straight flush is double gapped. So for example, if you have 3 to a straight flush of consecutive cards, 4, 5, 6 of diamonds versus King of Clubs, Jack of Spades, for example. There's no gap, you go for the straight flush. If you have 3 to a straight flush with one gap versus the high cards, say 3, 5, 6 of diamonds, for example, you also go for the straight flush. Now, if it is a 2-gapper, a double gapper, like 3, 5, 7 of diamonds, or 3, 6, 7 of diamonds, that is the exception. You instead hold the high cards instead and discard the straight flush draw. So that's the main strategy for that. There is another exception, though. If you do have the double gapper and one of the cards in the double gap straight flush draw is a high card. For example, you have 7-8 Jack of Hearts and King of Spades. Do you hold the King and the Jack, or do you hold the 7-8 and the 7-8 Jack of Hearts? In this case, even though it's double gapped, you do go for the straight flush because you do have that fallback of the Jack in case you get you have that chance of getting a pair of Jacks or better if you miss the straight flush, which, you know, vast majority of the time you're going to miss the straight flush. So that brings the expected value of holding that a little bit higher and makes going for that straight flush more worth it from an EV perspective. So the last one I want to take a look at is 3 to a straight flush against 2 cards to a royal flush, and the 2 to a royal is of a different suit than the 3 to a straight flush. So you got 3 to a straight flush of diamonds versus 2 to a royal consisting of clubs, for example. So in this case, the general guideline is to go for 2 to the royal, unless if you're playing jacks or better and there is no gap in the straight flush. So if you have, let's say an example, 5, 6, 7 of hearts, King of clubs, Queen of clubs. So you got 2 to a royal and 3 to a straight flush, no gap for the straight flush, and you are playing jacks or better specifically. In that case, you go for the straight flush. If you are, on the other hand, playing bonus poker, for example, you go for the 2 to the royal. So that's an exception right there. In most cases, if there is a gap, single gap, double gap in the straight flush, you always go for the 2 to the royal. But if it's there's no gap, it's sequential, and you're playing jacks or better specifically, you do go for the straight flush instead. And that, yeah, as I said, it only applies in jacks or better. All right, so those are the instances that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. There are probably some other exceptions and possibly some differences in other variants of video poker, but those are the ones we're going to discuss for today to keep the video short. But let me know if you learned something, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, share the video with others, hit the bell icon to be notified once I release my next video. And please, put in the comment section when you'd like to see the live stream later this month. So I'm releasing this mid-January, so I want to have this stream before the end of January, hopefully, but if you have a suggestion, please put it down. Otherwise, I'll come up with a date myself, and I'll make the announcement in next week's video. So I'll see you then. Have a great weekend, and go make it happen.